start. We're going to be giving out our Good Guy Award today, and I think you'll be happy to know that there were somewhere in the vicinity of a dozen players who received first place votes.
Really? Is that higher than last year?
It might have been.
Yeah.
It might have been. And even though there were that many receiving first place votes, this guy won with an overwhelming number of votes.
Really?
So, yeah, and there was a healthy percentage of the roster received votes this year, I would say.
Yeah. You can't hide. You gotta be a good guy every day. That's no one's that committed. That's just who that person is.
So thanks to the players, the coaches, your coaching staff, Ann and her staff, cafeteria workers, and anyone else I may have missed.
We knock it up in team meetings, so not good.
I'm sure we're going to get to your thoughts on Devon winning MVP. I did have a couple of two questions I'm really curious about. First is just a yes or no thing, then I'll ask you a second. First one was, I was wondering, was there a point earlier this year before you made the change that you considered replacing Tua with either Quinn or Zach?
No, I was very candid about like that whole process. When I thought that someone else gives us a better chance to win, like I see it as my absolute. That's what I have to do. That's my position. That's my decision to make. And when I got there, that's when I made the decision. But we're working through whatever during the season, trying to win football games. And when it became clear that there was another available player that I thought gave us a better chance, that's when I thought about it and did it.
And my second thing was, obviously it's a cold business. You have a humanity about you that I think we all appreciate. So from an emotional standpoint, did it create sadness for you to have to move on from a quarterback that you were close with, had invested a lot of time in this year? Were you sad for you? Were you sad for Tua? What your general emotions were? I don't think we've asked you.
Yeah, no. I have a steadfast agreement with myself that when it comes to obligations that the organization, the fan base, and that fall under my job responsibilities, I turn into a robot that has no emotions. It's irrelevant, erroneous. I'm sure those thoughts and really reflecting will come at some point, but my feelings don't help anyone. And that's my role. I'm the big helper with all things. And it's my job to be able to make tough decisions and, getting personal about decisions that have a lot of, a lot of consequences for individuals and the collective whole. I take my job too serious to really even allow myself to go there. So I think it's important that my head coaching decisions are based concretely on fact and the expertise that I have to have this job, and then I operate accordingly. And generally, the tough things. That's what I signed up for, and that's what people are counting on me to be able to do.
Mike, I have a related question as well, and it's really a basic one, but I've been wondering, and it really what it comes down to is how does a quarterback go from being the most accurate in the NFL a year ago, based on completion percentage, to possibly the least accurate based on interceptions this year? It's hard for me to recall a drop like that so rapidly and so stark. What do you attribute that to?
I think there's compounding variables at large that I don't, I tried to have the answer for, and that's my job, is to try to fix stuff. And So I think that's if I had that answer, I would have employed it. I think there's certain times. It's one of the reasons I said it might be better for all parties to have him as the emergency third, and he'll be each and every day. I think he's at work trying to figure out how to play his game the way he wants to. But for me, I try to provide solutions. I'll go to the end of the earth for that. And I think if I had that answer, this situation wouldn't be the way it played out. But I think in the whole process, I think he's gotten a chance to really show people who he is. That although he has his personal feelings, and I'm sure he could talk at length about, he's also very understanding of the captain leadership role, and that other people, that Quinn's getting an opportunity that's that he's worked very hard for. He's not just thinking about his own experience. He's trying to assist and help all parties and be a good teammate. So I think he's shown his true supporting colors. That the situation's not easy for anybody. I don't think, specifically him. So he's taken advantage of the adversity opportunity that has been bestowed in front of him.
What gives you optimism about the ability to close the gap with the Patriots in the near future?
I think we actually play the Patriots this week. And I think the football is a game of a collective body of people working together, and things. You just have to play good football in three phases, and as a team, and that can, what does that look like, and how do you do that? You continually do the next best thing available to you, and you build. I think so much of football and team sports, your best things are created as a result of failure. I think Michael Jordan talks about it at length. You could probably look it up, but like you don't have success without failure. An arbitrary solution is that you have to make good decisions and have the right people and coach and play. And we get the opportunity to do that this Sunday. And then you, when that game's over, then you assess and make decisions, and you compound good decision after good decision, and things take a turn. So I think the confidence that I have is of just really the people that are part of the solutions, the people, the resiliency within this team comes from somewhere, and doesn't mean everything is concretely right. Well, this season we have 7 wins and 9 losses, but we have one more game to play against that very opponent, and we'll see how that shakes out. But beyond that opponent this week, I think maybe some of your conversation or some of your questions, or where you're kind of directing, will be better answered next week when my mind's firmly on that. Right now it is Patriots, Gillette Stadium, Sunday at 4:25.
Mike, I wanted to ask you, since we were having the Tua conversation, have you seen throughout your career a quarterback lose velocity and then regain it on his throws?
Yeah, I think that is something that I've been around in terms of players going through various things, whether that be injury or technique adjustment. There's a lot of stuff that guys do in the off season, and I've seen. You can't just assume, but you put in the work and they do things the right way with the right intentionality. And I've seen, 10 yards and whatever the metric that you'd use for velocity, whether it's pronation or just straight velocity. I've seen it change drastically in one off season over time. There's a lot of biomechanics into throwing, and it's ground up, and it involves your whole body, not just your arms. So that is a formula that's unique to each player, but is definitely not steadfast. And I think one guy that I just thought of was we had a quarterback by the name of Nick Mullins who came in undrafted. Yeah, and he probably gained 10 yards in distance, and velocity was substantially greater after one off season in particular. I think it was from 18 to 19 or 17 to 18. I can't remember. But yeah, that's something that why they have throwing coaches and personal trainers and things that is something that guys work at, and it does fluctuate throughout their career.
Mike, a question about the offense you will take to New England on Sunday. Is this a more sustainable offense than the offense that you had with Tyreek on the field? And is it, I guess, has it led to you being a more creative play caller because you don't maybe feel the need to get the ball to Tyreek all the time? You guys, for example, this year you're 7-3 when you rush for over 100 yards. Last year you were 2-6 when you rush for over 100 yards. So is this offense more sustainable? Is it better, do you think?
Well, it sounds like you believe it is. I think realistically, you're trying to problem solve with your available assets, and I think you're constantly working on things that it's also people have gotten better at doing what we're asking them to do, and quite honestly, every play caller in the league would run the ball 100% of the time if you could get first downs and score points. It's the least risk, So, but I think, the development of our young offensive line has been huge. What our guys have been able to do at the point of attack between Julian Hill and Dan Brunskill and Greg Now and then Alec Ingold, those things, you get a 6 inches better on your combination blocks in terms of displacing the defensive end. That's a big difference for a runner, and gives you an extra revolution where you can press the line of scrimmage, and then the second level, it's harder for defenses to fit. So I think to be good at anything, it takes work. You need to have the appropriate lesson plan, if you will, the appropriate scheme, and you have to have the appropriate teachers, and then you have to have the right people that work on it diligently so that you can essentially you have to be able to execute things that people know that are coming, and that's the art of the NFL is you can always get there's always production that you can get on an opponent with some surprise, but as the season progresses and when you get into December and January, there's not that many secrets. You can get a couple secrets a game, but overall production, goes back to what you're working on day in, day out, where the buy-in or the level of buy-in, the level of commitment by each and every player, and then a group of people going out and executing a plan with cohesion. So I think we've been more consistent based upon the really the players really going after it, owning it, and believing in what we're doing, and they have the will for it. So this group of people really likes the feeling of when they are controlling the line of scrimmage, and that year in year out, usually you're going to have more success than failure when you're executing those types of things.
What makes 2025 Devon Chan better than years past?
I think he's confidence based on ownership of the small details, which allow him to play that much faster. And every time he shows up against an opponent, and top of their agenda is to stop him, and he can feel that the guys are trying to tattoo him and tackle him with aggression. And when you're able to combat that with successful, definitive, decisive action, and his contact balance is improved, while his weight is still pretty much stayed the same, but his contact balance, there's confidence in there where he's taking on defenders a little bit more, being able to shed them, and I think it all plays together where you have a little more conviction, and you make one or two defenders miss that you maybe wouldn't have the game before, the season before, and that just builds confidence on top of itself. That, and I think guys are really bought into just leaving one defender for him and taking care of everybody else, and they're getting a lot of return on investment with him having a high percentage of make you miss rate with that one defender, and that's where the explosives and the points come from.
On the other side of the Tua talk, what have you learned about Quinn Ewers that gives you optimism, confidence in his future?
Well, I think you don't know. You have a feeling, a gut. Like I said, I thought he gave us the best chance to win, but then observing someone handle what it is to be a quarterback on a starting quarterback in the NFL season, I know what exactly that is, and I've seen guys perform very well in practice, and things change a little bit with the heat of gameplay, and to see how natural playing the position of quarterback is to him, how I see some of his best throws and plays in game, gives you a chance. I think the way he sees the field and how he fearlessly lives in the pocket, I think that's an optimistic. That's the bar for NFL quarterback play. You have to be able to see the field and be able to stand in there and make plays from the pocket. But then when nothing's there, kind of like he did on the end of the game on the 3rd and 3, you got to be able to take off and convert a first down. So I think those things, the bottom line measurables that end up attributing success or failure to all quarterbacks each and every year. I know those things in particular are hard to come by, hard to do, and give you a chance to continue to improve and have your best football ahead of you, not behind you.
Someone asked you, like for example, Steve Ross asked, do you think Quinn can be a long-term good NFL starting quarterback? Would you have an answer yet, or can you simply not have any idea after only 2 games?
I think he has the ability to lead this team, with coordinated and cohesion play from his teammates. I think he can lead this team to victory against the opponent in front of us. I think his game continues to grow. It's 2 for 2, and so we're trying to see 3 for 3. I think everybody will have essentially 33% more information on how he plays the position.
Thank you.